Former President and Prime Minister Samuel Hinds is of the view that for any commission of inquiry to be objective, it should go back to the days when the PNC facilitated the conditions that gave birth to Roger Khan.
That era started, in my view, you can put it as starting in the PPPC win at the 1997 elections. Guyana is a country of its 6 peoples coming together. We were never together. Afro-Guyanese have been feeling that Indo-Guyanese, the party that many Indo-Guyanese supported was likely to win fair and free elections. And that was, frankly, the motivation for Mr. Burnham at the time to go to rigged elections. When we won, they were upset and so on, but then they seemed to have a year or two of tolerance. But now as 97 elections come, and it looks like the PPP will win again, it's all hell break loose.
Mr. Hinds said that year, 1997, was the year that really began the era of death.
We did win at 97. You had burnings, you had the marches, you had the total unacceptance. In fact, the country seemed to be on the razor's edge.
Okay.
We were almost on a trajectory of maybe civil war and total burning down and so on. It seemed at that time that we were on that trajectory.
The former Prime Minister said that an influential faction of the PNC, together with both the army and the police, were directly involved in creating the unrest of the post-1997 elections. Do you think that the powers that be, the administrative powers that obtained at the time within the PNC, condoned or facilitated this?
Maybe a few did. And we're talking 1997, I would say in 2008, we have that tape. But if one accepts the tape, one would see that someone who was on the vice chairman at the time of the PNC and a person who was the commissioner of police at the time had a conversation which seemed to suggest that the commissioner of police was acting to favor the PNC. But it seemed to be that they were arranging things, that the vice chairman of the PNC was thanking the then chief commissioner of police for arranging things and doing things that were favorable.
Okay, you're going on record to say that you believe that some of the administrators of the PNC at the time facilitated this unrest that obtained?
Yes, it looks so. It looks so, and encouraged it. When the January the 12th attack on Indo-Guyanese in Georgetown, 200 beaten. So they report that the people around and the police did basically nothing.
According to Mr. Hinds, the armed forces were working directly with the opposition PNC, and they simply allowed the unrest to continue.
The regular security forces were being particularly remarkably unsuccessful in apprehending these people. You had them being projected as freedom fighters.
Good.
Even more, there are reports that on the GDF side, some of the GDF crews would see the people to be apprehended, but they had orders that they had to call back.
So you're saying, as former president, former prime minister, you're saying that during those times that the military arm, both the security forces received political support to facilitate the anarchy that obtained.
Yes, and some of them were so inclined. There were others who wanted to be professional,
but for the most part,
wanted to be guided. For a significant and important part, yes.
Okay. The former prime minister is arguing that the COI should start from 1997. He believes that if that is done, it will implicate senior members of the PNC and even members of the current administration. For Channel 2 Headline News, I am Wendell Jeffrey.